Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sakar Bajracharya and I welcome all of you to our channel DentoMac Dental. The topic of today's video is going to be tooth numbering system, and this video will be targeting all the dental students as well as those people who are not pursuing dental career but are eager to know something about it. Is the first basic dental topic that a dental student must be aware of. So in this topic or video I will be explaining everything about what is tooth numbering system, and different types of tooth numbering system, how it is utilized by the dentist during their treatment procedures, and etc. So first of all, let's start with what is tooth numbering system, or why do we need tooth numbering system. Tooth numbering system is used by dentists to associate information to a specific tooth. In clinical practice, some shorthand systems of tooth notation is necessary for recording of the data. To do so effectively, it is necessary to adopt a type of code or numbering system for teeth. So tooth numbering system is very much important. It is regarding with each individual tooth that is present within your mouth. Until and unless you identify a tooth properly, how you are going to gather information about it or write it in your OPD card or carry forward it with another dentist. So it is very much important. Now as we know why we do need or what is the tooth numbering system, we shall further talk about what are different types of tooth numbering system. There are several numbering systems that exist in the world, and three main types of numbering systems are commonly used. And they are: the first one is universal tooth numbering system, second one is Zigmondian Palmer tooth numbering system, and the third one is FTI tooth numbering system, which stands for Federation Dental International Tooth Numbering System. Now let us talk about the universal tooth numbering system. The universal tooth numbering system was introduced by Julius Parade in 1882, and it is the official tooth designation system in the USA. So this system is mainly used in the states. It was further adopted by the ADA or American Dental Association since 1975. It includes a sequence of Arabic number 1 to 32 total in number for permanent tooth, and the alphabetical system A to T for deciduous teeth moving clockwise around the dentition. If you guys do not know how to identify the tooth or how many dentition are present or what are the quadrants present in our mouth, then I prefer that you guys go into our channel and check the video that I had made before. And this will make you clear everything what we are going to study further in the video. But talking shortly about it, there are two imaginary lines, horizontal and vertical imaginary lines, that divide our dentition into four equal quadrants, and each quadrant contains 8 total number of tooth for the permanent dentition or the dentition for the adult people, and for children each quadrant contains 5 total number of tooth. Every tooth numbering system will talk about permanent dentition and primary dentition at different level. So according to the universal tooth numbering system, we can see in this picture the numbers are designated for individual tooths. The number will be 1 to 32. It will start from the upper right part of the first quadrant, the posterior portion of the first quadrant. The third molar, which is the most posterior teeth present in the upper right portion, will be designated with number 1. The second molar will be designated as 2. The first molar will be designated at 3. Similarly, it goes on and on. After we continue from first quadrant, we will shift to second quadrant, and from second quadrant to third quadrant, and from third to fourth quadrant. So it will start from the first quadrant and it will end up to the fourth quadrant. It will be easier for you if you imagine yourself as a patient and start to count the tooth from posterior upper right side to the lower right side of the mouth. Now in primary dentition, alphabets are used from A to E but not numbers. We will start similarly as in permanent dentition, from the most posterior portion of the first quadrant. The most posterior tooth in the deciduous dentition will be second deciduous molar, and that will be designated by alphabet A. B will be deciduous first molar, C will be deciduous canine, D will be deciduous li, and E will be deciduous ci, and that will be of first quadrant. From first we will hop up to second quadrant, from second to third, third to fourth. Are numbered. If the wisdom tooth is missing, then first number will be 2 instead of 1, acknowledging the missing tooth. That means that as we know, the most posterior tooth or the first number 1 represents the wisdom tooth or the third molar of the first quadrant. It doesn't mean that if the third molar is absent, then the second molar is represented as 1. It will be always represented as 2. If the teeth had removed or teeth are missing, the missing teeth will be numbered as well. So according to this line, let us suppose that you are missing central incisor of the first quadrant, which is designated as number 8. So if you do not have central incisor of the first quadrant, then it does not mean that the central incisor of the second quadrant, which is adjacent to it, is numbered as 8. It will always be numbered as 9. So if you are missing certain tooths, then they will be counted similar if they are present or not. Now talking about the advantages of the tooth numbering system, separate numbers and alphabet is given for individual tooth, as we have seen earlier. It is easy to visualize which tooth has the importance for the treatment, or which tooth the dentist is talking about. Now talking about the disadvantages, it is confusing when comparing with the Palmer notation system, as there are different tooth notation systems similar to the universal tooth numbering system. So when we use these tooth numbering system differently, then it may be confusing sometimes. It cannot be coded by the computer, confusing and difficult to remember. It takes a lot of time to practice fluently. It does not consider the jaw quadrant clearly. The similar teeth are given various new numbers in different quadrant. Now talking about the second tooth numbering system, and that is Zigmondian and Palmer tooth numbering system. In 1947, a committee at the ADA recommended the symbolic Zigmondi-Palmer system as the numbering method of choice. Originally called the Zigmondi system by an Austrian dentist Adolf Zigmondi, who developed the idea in 1861. The Zigmondian Palmer system, which is also called as 8 numerical quadrant system, as it uses number from 1 to 8, is meant for permanent dentition only initially. Initially, it was developed by Zigmondi in 1861. Then further modification was made by the Palmer in 1891. Initially, it was not designated for primary teeth, but in 1874, it was adopted for the primary dentition. This is one of the oldest and most widely used system for dental notation. This method used by orthodontist dental students and practitioners in the United Kingdom, as well as in South Asian countries such as India, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, etc. As we can see in the picture given below, the Palmer notation system consists of a symbol designating in which quadrant the tooth is found, and a number indicating the position from the midline. It uses alphabets for the primary dentition and numbers for the permanent dentition. So as we know that the horizontal and vertical line divides mouth into 4 different quadrants. So for different quadrant, different signs are used, and it can be seen in the picture. Zigmondi used the Zigmondi cross or grid to record quadrants of tooth position, where primary teeth are coded by means of Roman numericals initially, from the midline to distally. Then later Palmer changed and substituted these by uppercase letter. But the main disadvantage is that it is difficult to dictate, and digitally encoding for non-numerical symbols such as crosses or corners and angles can be a problem. It requires a special software, a private processing editor PCE, Microsoft Access, and a specific font, that is Palmer type. As you can see in the picture, notation for both the primary as well as the permanent dentition is given. In primary teeth, the tooth is divided into 4 quadrant, and the tooth are designated by alphabets, as central incisor is designated by E, and the deciduous second incisor as second molar is designated by alphabet E, and it is similar in all the quadrants. And similarly in the permanent teeth, the tooth are designated by alphabet 1 to 8 in all the quadrants, and the symbol is given differently. Now talking about the advantages of this system. The system is very simple to use. It is easier for beginners due to less confusion, as permanent teeth and deciduous teeth are indicated differently. But there are certain disadvantages of this system too. There is no differentiation between right upper, right lower, left upper, and left lower, as similar alphabets or number are used. Segments has only one number and used to designated particular tooth. No provision to identify supernumerary tooth is present. Difficult for verbal transmission. So compared to the universal tooth numbering system, it is difficult to carry on the data to from one person to the another person. Now let's talk about the last tooth numbering system, that is FDI tooth numbering system. FDI stands for Federation Dentire International System. It is a 2-digit system. It has been accepted and in 1970 by the FDI and adopted by WHO and International Association for Dental Researchers, and in October 1994 adopted by the International Standard Organization ISO. This dental notation meet all the basic requirements set by a FDI special committee. The FDI notation for the permanent tooth is shown in the picture. This system uses two-digit formula as we can see in the picture given below. The first number represents the quadrant and the second number represents the tooth. So if you are talking about the second molar of the first quadrant, then it is designated as 1 8, and if you are talking about the canine of the second quadrant, then it will be designated as 2 3, as 2 represent the quadrant and 3 represents canine. Similarly, it can be seen in the picture how different numbers are used to designate different tooth. Now talking about the primary dentition, similarly to the permanent dentition, number 1 2 3 and 4 as it was used in the permanent dentition identification or quadrant identification, then 5 6 7 and 8 are the number that are used to identify different quadrants, where 5 represents the first quadrant in the deciduous dentition, 6 represent the second quadrant in the deciduous dentition, 7 and 8 represents the third and the fourth quadrant. So the first number 5 will be represented as the quadrant, and the second number that is used will represent the tooth, as we can see in the picture. 5 1 is the central incisor of the right upper side of the deciduous dentition, and 5 5 will be the second molar of the upper right corner of the tooth. Now talking about the advantages of the system, it is very simple, accurate and is easy to memorize. It is user friendly and prevents error in differentiating left and right, upper and lower arches and tooth type. Similarly, to teach and ease to understand is very positive point of this tooth numbering system. It is simple to translate into computer input. It is simple in conversation and direction, readily communicable in prints. Now talking about the disadvantages, in the case of deciduous teeth, there can be confusion and it is difficult to memorize. For specialists other than periodontics, it can be difficult to understand or to define teeth. For example, of 6-4 and 8-5, it is the combined use of the Palmer and the FDI system may be accurate and creates no confusion, but it is time consuming, needs much concentration. It is difficult to enter multiple teeth in different arches and it would be too long to use routinely. Now let us see the difference between these tooth numbering system. Let us take a tooth. Let it be the central incisor of the first quadrant. Now I will represent 1, 2 and 3. 1 will be the universal system, 2 will be Zigmondian and Palmer, and 3 will be FDI system. So in universal system, the central incisor of the first quadrant will be represented as 8. In Zigmondian and Palmer, it will be represented as 1, and in the FDI system it will be represented as 1 1. Now similarly, taking another tooth, let us take the first premolar of the second quadrant. If we talk about the first premolar of the second quadrant, then in universal system it will be designated as S12. In Zigmondian and Palmer system it will be noted as 4, and in FDI system it will be noted as 2 4. So I hope that you are able to differentiate between these three systems. If you are not clear about this system or any other information you are willing to get, then you can write it down in the comment section below. If this video is helpful a bit for you, then I hope that you will like the video, and please do subscribe for the channel, and please share this video to other people so that they will also get knowledge about this video. Thank you.